Everyone is talking about the agreement that Zimbabwe rejected that was offered by the United States. But what people are not realizing is that Zimbabwe was already on track trying to fight against its resources being exported outside of Zimbabwe, especially medical resources. You may not know this because who is looking at what is happening in the rural areas? But the National Parks and Wildlife of Zimbabwe and other authorities like the ZRP have been working together to educate people, especially in remote areas where medical supplies or traditionally medical trees or plants have been taken to the United States, to the US illegally. This came about as a result of Zimbabwe having critical medical plants going extinct because of this smuggling of plants from Zimbabwe to the Western world. This has happened without any legal or any benefit to the country itself. The situation is so bad that some plants that have gone extinct in Zimbabwe that are natural to Zimbabwe only are only found in the Western world where they are being grown in labs. The same plants that have gone extinct in Zimbabwe are now being resold to the African continent as medication. If we do that with a critical sector such as the medical industry, imagine the impact of that. A critical part to this agreement that the USA was offering was that African countries have to share the medical data of their people with the USA. Now, it can't be happening just in Zimbabwe, where our natural medical resources are going extinct, but only found in labs in their countries. But with that medical data, that means we are not even in control of our own medications that we could easily make in our own country. I will give you a specific example of how dangerous this can be. When COVID-19 happened, Africa was the best fighter against COVID-19. In fact, less African people were affected, unlike the rest of the world. This came about because we have traditional medications, and specifically in Zimbabwe, we had something called moringa, and people were taking moringa and having it, even in the UK and the USA. Now imagine a situation where moringa goes extinct in Zimbabwe, and then Zimbabweans have diseases that they were already fighting that can only be healed by moringa, and it's now being sold by the USA to Zimbabwe. Now, it's not a new case where Big Pharma is trying to get more profits from the people, and Africa is just another target for their profits, for them to make money. It's a business deal. However, is it a good business deal for Africans? This is just one example of what may be happening behind the scenes that may have influenced Zimbabwe to reject this agreement. But just that one example shows you just how critical it is for African countries to say no to this agreement. These are just my thoughts, but what matters most is what you think. Let me know in the comments.